How you feeling out there? How's it going? How you feeling?
It's a crazy world right now. We're living in a crazy world. It reminds me of a bunch of films that I've seen in the past where it's kind of coming true at the moment, you know, with everybody contained. 28 days later, I feel like this is going to be 30 days later.
Yeah, man.
Or longer.
Yeah, maybe a year later. I think we're looking at like 1 year later.
It could be. It could be a year later.
I used to always think like an apocalypse would be just so awesome, like Mad Max days. And now that I'm like been in my house for 2 days, I'm so over it. Like people are going to be so socially awkward by the time this is done. Nobody's going to know what to say to each other.
Exactly.
And it's so true. I'm kind of hyped up about the apocalypse if it happens. I've been preparing all my life.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Ninja training, Taekwondo, American Ninja Warrior. Yep. I'm ready.
I've got no training under my belt. Nothing. I will say this. I've got like nothing. I'm just going to be over here at Malvern Manor just hanging out.
But dude, that's it. You're in a haunted location. Zombies come at you. They're going to be like, Malvern Manor? Nope, we're not going in there.
Thanks.
Ghosts will kick our ass.
That's right. They'll be like, no thanks,
no
bro.
No zombies are going to enter there.
Yeah. But
you don't got beware of dogs. You got beware of ghosts up in your place.
True that.
It's true.
True.
But Johnny, I hear you because, you know, often I romanticize what it would be like to be like in the show Lost, you know? I'm like, that could be kind of dope. But then like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know?
It gets real after like, you know, I've gone through pretty much everything on my Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. It's just like, I tried putting a puzzle together yesterday, like a puzzle.
I saw that.
And I thought, how do I even do this? I was like, yeah, you get the flat edges and make like the square. So I start doing that. My son takes and just wipes them all off the table, which is good because I found the piece I was looking for stuck to his leg. Then my dog came up and ate it, and I just threw the whole thing away. It's like, why even put this puzzle together now? There's a piece missing. It's just over with.
Just done.
And at that point, I was done with the apocalypse.
Isn't that great, though, with kids? Because they distract us in such the best ways, you know? The other day, when we were doing our last podcast, we were talking, and I told my daughter, Chloe, I was watching them, and I was like, listen, whatever you do, don't come in here while I'm doing this podcast. And they know, you know, we're talking, we're doing our thing, we're recording an episode. And I said, unless it's really serious, you wave your hand, you raise your hand, you let me know, and I'll step away, right? And I'll let the other guys handle whatever's happening at that moment. She comes out here like 30 minutes into the podcast when we're deep in discussion, talking about all crazy stuff, wormholes, altered realities, whatever we were talking about. And she's waving her hand, and I see her all peripheral in my vision. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? And, you know, I'm trying to mute myself, and she's waving. I'm like, all right, it must be serious, right? She goes, Dad, I need a snack. And Scooby-Doo, I can't get to the next episode. I can't get back onto the Scooby-Doo, you know? How do I get it to the next episode?
Oh, man. It's rough.
That's serious.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Snacks are serious.
Yeah.
Scooby snacks are serious, you know?
You don't
My
mess
daughter
with the
tried
Scoobies.
bribing me. She said she'll watch my son Scout as long as I pimp her TikTok page on this. And,
That's amazing.
and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Which it's, I think, Grace_monkey_lover or something. She wants me to get her a monkey.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
yesterday she asked if she could get plastic surgery to make her face look like a monkey.
I love Grace.
She's the
I
best.
just followed her on TikTok the other day.
Yeah.
I love Grace. She's
Man.
awesome.
She's
man.
something.
She's always been like that, though, huh? She was always the one wearing, like, the Friday the 13th mask or, like, the Michael Myers mask or whatever when she was younger, I remember, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have a picture of her riding her tricycle down the street, and she's wearing a Frozen princess dress and a leather face mask. And
Good for her.
she's just always, it's not something I pushed on her at all. She's just always been weird like that. Probably gets it from her mom, I'm guessing.
That's gotta be. It's gotta be.
How old is she? How old is she now, Johnny?
She's 11,
Okay.
going on 17.
Yeah.
But
course.
she's going to chase the boys away with that, you know?
Yeah.
She's going to be
See,
like, you want to go out Friday night? Dun, 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 dun. Mask goes on.
Yeah. Like the beard and the tattoos are all calculated so boys do not want to date my daughter, and it's not even working so far.
Oh man.
I have mine all worked out when I get older. You know, when the boys start coming around, when my daughters are teenagers or whatever, they're gonna come over, and I'm not gonna have to say anything because I'm gonna say, I know a million people that are living, and I also know a million people that are dead.
Right.
So pick your choice right now. Be
Very
good
true.
to my daughters or else. I'll be equal to 2 million. 2 million living and dead.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm ready, man. Bring on the apocalypse.
Bring it.
I've
Bring it
been
on.
making friends on the other side for decades.
That's a
Yeah,
good
no,
point.
we all have. I guess that's what we got going for us. I mean, we already kind of know like tons of people that have passed on. I mean, most of them maybe want to help us and look after us and help. I don't know.
Yeah, I think some people look at it as a negative, but I find it a positive. You know, it doesn't matter what
Yes.
your beliefs are, what your background is, what you're doing in your life, what you're going through. Everybody at least once in their life thinks about the other side or what happens when you die. It's the ultimate question, right? It's kind of what we're all searching for in a weird, mysterious way, or just kind of getting to that place through our path or wherever we're going in life. And that's why I'm so excited to speak to this amazing person today, Kayla. And so I'm really excited. What happened to Chad?
Did Chad die? Like, what just happened,
First
bro?
off, I was
Did he just fall?
no, he waited for it.
Chad, come back to us.
Oh,
Are you
oh
okay?
my God.
What
The
happened?
apocalypse.
Buddy, what
No,
happened?
the door blew open. The door blew open, and my little dog, she's like Andy Dufresne from freaking Shawshank. She's always trying to escape. So, like, I didn't know, like, my roommate's on the other side of the door, but yeah. So I was like leaping. I knocked shit over.
Oh my gosh, dude! I thought I don't know what happened. I thought zombies broke into your house, and this was it. Chad was done. It's like Shaun of the Dead happening right now in front of our eyes.
Dude, I thought you were a goner.
It's
for
good
sure.
content, guys. It's good content. Yeah,
Chad,
yeah.
Chad,
That.
what was happening?
That's how much my dog means to me, man. It's just like she darts, and
Yeah.
like we always have to keep a close eye on this house because she's a darter. So you saw it in real time. I just darted for my dog and knocked things over. Oy. But I tell you what, I'm ready to interview our guest.
Yes.
I'm excited about today's guest. I know you guys are too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so like I was saying before, Chad just saved the world from zombies. We have an incredible person that I've been excited to talk to and just hear. You know, it's just been a fascinating journey that we've been through on the G Crew. But, you know, let's introduce Kayla. Kayla, how are you doing? Welcome to this crazy part of our life.
Hi, Kayla.
Yeah, we're all surviving.
We are. How's everything going, Kayla? How are you doing?
Well, just constantly checking the phone to see if we get picked up for a second season. So just like, just rip off the Band-Aid and tell us already.
I understand that pain. So when are you supposed to find out?
I don't know. They don't tell us anything.
Of
It's
course.
just we filmed the pilot in 2018, so it's just been like almost 2 years. So it's just been like a long process.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I know. I hate the waiting period when you're waiting. Well, let's talk about your passions first and foremost. What are your passions? Acting, fitness. I see you doing all sorts of amazing things on Instagram, your Instagram stories and everything you've been posting. I follow you, so tell us about just your passions in general.
Well, obviously, acting, of course. It's what I love. It's what I pursue. Method acting, really getting into a character analysis. Fitness, obviously. Fitness has always been a part of my life. Same with American Ninja Warrior. So many of my friends are also on the show. Kevin Bull, Kevin DeBrune, Wesley Silvestri, so many. And of course you now are on American Ninja Warrior. And obviously paranormal investigating, obviously, because I've been doing that for such a long time since I was a little kid.
Yeah, Oh, I love American Ninja Warrior. I remember when I went out for it. I think it was season 6. We just talked to Joe, who's on American Ninja Warrior, the weatherman. He's incredible. I mean, he's just a beast. The way he trains every day, the way he goes after the course is incredible. And it was very motivational listening to his story and stuff and how he's going through the process and getting ready to do his challenges. I mean, it's good to have a well balance with method acting, pursuing your dreams and goals and everything you want to do, and then also the fitness side. I always find that a well balanced, lifestyle just in general for me, because I'm going to decrepit locations and then I have to work out and kind of get balanced in a positive state again. It's been crazy. Well, that's amazing. And you've always loved acting, or is it just something that came to you?
Well, I've always had a passion for acting, like, throughout my life. But actually, originally, my goal was to be a criminal profiler for the FBI.
Oh, wow.
Ironically, seeing Silence of the Lambs at age 9 inspired that. But, yeah. But, no, acting became really serious later on in life.
Amazing. I love Silence of the Lambs, by the way.
Oh, one of the great...
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I said I love Silence of the Lambs.
I know.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
One of the greatest. One of the greatest. We're always joking about that movie, Nick. We always joke. We love that movie. Buffalo Bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chad does the best Buffalo Bill impersonation, by the way.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. Spare us for this one.
I'll save it for I don't know. I need the lipstick. I need the music in the background.
Chad can play the greatest Buffalo Bill impersonator. I'm not joking. I was filming. So, quick story. I was filming Chad and John Tenney at Holmesburg Prison for Ghost Stalkers, and I have this camera shot, and I used to shoot a lot of the B-roll shots. So I'm sitting there down a hallway, and I'm like, all right, guys, just walk down the hallway, and I had no clue that they were going to turn around and Chad and John Tenney were going to break out into Buffalo Bill scene in front of the camera. It was amazing.
Oh. With the music. Nick, do you have that? We got to post that. that.
I don't. I think it was in my old laptop somewhere.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. I thought you had it. It was on your phone.
I don't know. Maybe we got to bug Tenney for it.
Yeah, I'll find it. We'll post it.
Yeah. My goodness. Kayla, so so many people, I want them to congratulations on the show, by the way. Congratulations. I know that the process is so arduous, and from actually getting the part into filming it until it getting picked up, it's a lot of craziness. The show's called Everyone's Gonna Be Okay. Everything's Gonna Be Okay. Excuse me.
Yes,
Everything's
correct.
Gonna Be Okay. Can you and you play Matilda? Can you tell us about your character and about the show? And I kind of want to know the process of how you got the show. If you could talk about it.
Well, probably I'll start with how I got this show. Ironically,
Yeah.
it was almost a year to the date when I moved to LA to seriously pursue acting. But during that year, no agency wanted to meet with me. I didn't get one interview. And then I saw on Actors Access that a nationwide casting call was posted. And I was like, okay, everything's going to be okay. It's a pilot for some unknown network. The character seems interesting. The submit button wasn't working, so I called the casting director's office, and I was like, okay, they're not going to give me their email. No way, this is not going to happen. And they ended up giving me their email. They looked at my headshot, and they called me in 2 days later. And it was about a month and a half long casting process.
Wow.
I think it was about 8 to 10 callbacks.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds about right. With people sitting there looking at you, not amused.
No, the worst was the last one when it's the network executives, producers, everybody involved with the network is with 20, 30 people in the room is performing in a mini theater, doing all those scenes.
Wow.
But Matilda, she's a high school senior. She's 17. Just like me, she's on the autism spectrum. She's musically talented, very quirky. I don't want to give too much away, especially if you haven't like seen the show yet, but she's just going through a really difficult time with the loss of her father, considering she's already lost her mother. The show is basically not your storybook family scenario. It's real life. It's real talk. Everyone involved in this project is really awesome, and I honestly consider them my second family.
Like, do you have any cool like ghost stories to share with us, or locations that you've been to that you wanted to share with us? Weird things that may or may not have happened to you?
Oh, many, but probably one of my favorites happened not too far away from where I am now, the Queen Mary in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was 14 and I was doing a school assignment on the paranormal, of course.
Nice.
But I was in the forward cargo hold, which is below water level, which is where basically a tragedy occurred. During, I think it was 1941 or 1942, the Queen Mary was transporting men to war, but they hit the HMS Corocoa, I believe is the name of the ship, that carried 337 men and directly collided in it. And the captain's instructions were to basically sail ahead and not pick up any survivors. So the men in the water were pounding on the ship, begging to be let on. Fortunately, they all either drowned or got by the propeller. But when I was down there, I could constantly hear like pounding throughout the bottom of the ship, and we're underwater level. I looked through everything, trying to see, okay, maybe this is just all part of it. Maybe there's speakers or something giving that illusion, but there's nothing. And then we started an EVP session, and I heard these like footsteps coming up behind me, and then suddenly I feel like something pulling my hair and twisting it. And I was like, to the investigator next to me, I was like, dude, is something playing with my hair? And he says, yes. And everybody around me was watching this happen, but they tried to get their camcorders and everything out, but everything was dead. Like fresh batteries, everything. Nobody could actually capture it.
Wow.
But it does not end there. By the end of the investigation, my mom and I went to our suite on the D deck, and when we crawled into bed, something started messing with my mom's hair, starting like parting it in weird ways. And my mom was like, Kayla, you're the expert. Tell this thing to just go. And I yelled at my mom, not until you finally admit that you believe in the paranormal and I'm not the crazy one. I said, fine,
Nice
I believe. She was like, okay, ghost, you made yourself known. Thank you. Now, I don't want you to leave, but my mom says you have to leave, so maybe I'll see you tomorrow when we check out.
Wow.
But I did not want to leave that hotel after that experience. Even though I was 14, that wasn't my first investigation at all. Not by a long shot, but that experience, it was just like, I didn't want it to end, man.
That's really cool, though. A lot of
one of my
people,
favorites.
a lot of people would want to run the opposite way. You know what I mean? And not you. That's outstanding. You didn't want it to end. You wanted to keep going. It's really cool.
No, you have to stay, because average, like, paranormal manifestation or ghost sighting is usually only a few seconds. So you have to take in as much as you can. And maybe then run away if necessary, but you have to stay put for as long as you can.
I say run exactly. Run into it. Run into the fear. Run into it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
absolutely. Right. I love the Queen Mary like that. It's so mysterious. It's such an interesting place. What's really cool is the pool area. I don't know if you had an opportunity to walk into the pool area, if they were still renovating
Yeah,
it.
there was. We caught a lot of like weird noises and stuff. I'm not sure if like some of the stuff is true that I heard, because I couldn't find any documentation of a woman who was murdered in one of the stalls, and her body was dragged into one of the cupboards that's kind of hidden where the piping is.
Right.
But I did get prominent EMF like spikes down there because there's nothing going on down there that would make sense why an EMF detector would be going off like at such a high level.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But
it's a weird.
It was pretty bizarre.
It's a weird area. That pool is so interesting to me because there's this little girl in the back spot. You'll hear her laughing. You'll hear her giggling. She'll come out and she'll speak. You'll see shadows. I mean, that's my personal experience, and I've heard all the stories. But there's no documentation of a little girl dying anywhere in that facility of that boat.
That's
but
correct.
They think it could be somebody who, maybe a little girl who passed away down the street or something and just wandered there, kind of like a lighthouse beacon where this spirit is drawn to it. I had the opportunity to investigate the boat with Debbie Constantino way back in the day. And her and I were standing in there by herself. You know, there was just another person who helped operate the boat, was standing out front of the boat, you know, making sure everything was secure. The other two guys were on the other side. It was during Ghost Ventures. And I remember just standing there in the darkness, and Debbie and I are looking at each other. It's so quiet in the pool area, and all of a sudden we hear this little girl giggling. And we're like, did you hear that? And she's like, yep, I heard it. So we just became quiet, and we were just listening. This little girl started communicating with us and saying things to us, and we started asking questions. It was really weird. It's almost like another dimension opened up, and all of a sudden this little girl walked into our reality, and we were communicating with each other. That's how weird that pool area is. I really like it.
Wow.
It's a cool
No,
place.
that area definitely is weird. Just like the vibes that you get just by being there. I mean, it can seem heavy in certain areas, or especially like where like the portal is. I believe it's like the third or fourth changing stall that the portal is. Like, especially there, like you walk through that area, and then all the hairs on your arms, on the back of your neck will just stand up once you pass that like threshold.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I got a really funny story because you were talking about the bows of the boat, like way in the front where you go all the way down. You got to take the elevator, I think, to go down to it. So almost a decade ago, I was there investigating, right, on Ghost Ventures. This is a funny story. I was going in the area where they don't let anyone go, right? And I'm coming down this, like, it's all abandoned in the front, right, when you go deeper and deeper into the boat. So I'm going down this, like, escalator, then, you know, I'm walking through, like, the empty hallways in the rooms. All of a sudden, I turn around, and I'm looking at the elevator in front of me that you got to take all the way down, right? I turn around, and up on the escalator is two massive raccoons, like this size. Like, huge, right? They see me. We lock eyes. And I'm not even kidding you. It was like, what's that animation that was it Pixar or whatever? You know, with Baby Jack and the raccoon getting that fight. Yeah, The Incredibles.
Yeah,
it was just like The Incredibles. That the raccoon sees me, and I'm like, elevator, go. These things were huge. They're gigantic. So I start moving really quickly, power walking to the elevator. I get in the elevator. I'm pushing the button, and it's not shutting, and the raccoon's coming straight at me. I'm like, if this closes and the raccoon jumps in with me in the elevator, it's gonna be The Incredibles. I'm gonna be Baby Jack laser beaming him, you know? And I'm not joking, the elevator slowly shut right at the second as the raccoons were walking up to the elevator.
Ooh.
It closed, boom, they're right there. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Those animals, man. It was hilarious. I still talk about that today. I swear, The Incredibles stole that from me.
You think they were ghost raccoons?
No, those were real. They were real. They were definitely real.
But maybe there were like dark forces that were manifesting into like gigantic raccoons to get you.
Maybe, man. Maybe. You never know in this weird world we're living in.
Oh,
I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff in my life, but sometimes it's the reality that's scarier than understanding the paranormal, you know?
man.
Absolutely. And speaking of, paranormal, I was wondering who you studied under in school for parapsychology.
If you've heard of parapsychologist Dr. Lloyd Arrowback, he has a program through the Office of Paranormal Investigations. with conjunction with, I believe it's the Rhine Research Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I started taking classes under him when I was 17.
Wow.
That guy's
How was
amazing.
that starting out?
I love his courses. They're so in depth. I love how like he teaches the investigators to approach every investigation as a skeptic, because you see like so many investigators today like going, oh, okay, that's paranormal, when obviously like no, that's, you can debunk that like so well, but he's always taught me to just always investigate from a skeptic's point of view, debunk every possible option. That's why I even have a tool chest with me in every investigation. Kid's piano plays by itself. Okay, I'm going to take it apart to make sure it's not rigged.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Man.
Man, I got to get you on my team when we investigate, because
Definitely, I'm down.
If I had someone like you with like, you know, a tool belt or whatever, and just like just taking stuff apart while we're investigating, that would be incredible.
Hey, you never know these days. So many people are out to get a quick buck with these fake hauntings and stuff. You got to make sure.
It's true. I always say like the best tool is obviously like our bodies, you know, like I think our minds are going to lie to us, but like our bodies typically will tell us the truth. I think most of the time it's going to be like, oh, something happened, because you just can't shake off that weird feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Lloyd's a great guy. I had the opportunity to speak with him. We did a radio show together way back in the day, a couple years ago. And he was one of the first people to investigate USS Hornet.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
USS, yeah, I mean, and he has some great stories about that. And I wanted to bring him in for an event I was doing out there. I forget, I don't know, but I really want to cross paths and do something with him. He's just really, really interesting individual, and I love learning from other people. And he's a world of information. He's been doing it a long time, and he's just an incredible person. So I really respect him a lot. What are your goals right now in life? What would you like to accomplish? What are your major goals that you want to go after?
Well, obviously, right now with the show and everything, I want to keep pursuing this, be very career focused. But ironically, a lot of my goals are projects that Chad has already booked. Well, of course, I can't do Supernatural because that's ending. But
yeah, you know, right?
I know. By the time I have my foot in the door, Supernatural ends. So I'm just like, dang.
I hear that.
Law and Order SVU
yes,
is like
nice. Always
been like a lifelong like goal, but I'm still hoping, because they just got approved for 3 more seasons. So that's like, okay, I have like 3 years. Okay,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen.
I know. And by the way, Chad, your performance, you're on SVU. It was like amazing. It's one of my top favorite guest star performances.
That is so nice of you to say. Thank you so much. It was one of my favorites to do, and that whole crew and cast is super, super fun. But yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm lobbying for SVU for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What would,
it's kind of like an actor's, like, you, in order to like be like, you have to like, everyone does like, yeah, like a Law and Order, so like it has to happen.
Yeah, everybody who's everybody, even if they've already very prominent in the business, you find them like doing it later on, like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Patricia Arquette, right. Like they've always like done it in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Chad, what would on Supernatural, this was a scene right now, what would Badass say? What would Dr. Badass say?
What would he say?
Yeah, right now, you know, for Kayla, like, just get on something. If he was there pushing for her in the studio and people weren't listening, what would Badass say?
He would be like, take that mullet, take that inner mullet, swing it wide. Swing that mullet wide. Just own it. Just own it.
Yeah, just constantly have the business in front and then
party in the back. That's right. That's right. That's what you got to do. Like that's honestly, like, when I auditioned for that show, like I went in with a sleeveless flannel, and then when they said I met everybody, they were like, "Hey, go ahead whenever you're ready." So then I turned around and I unbuttoned my shirt all the way, and then when I started the scene, I just completely turned around and busted out my bare chest and started the scene like on Mach 10. And then they all busted up, and then I got the call later that night. So it's like, You know, when you know this, Kayla, like you got to go in like the character. You got to like own it. You got to be that person.
Oh, I know, definitely. I consider myself method, so I'll stay in character for as long as I possibly can.
It's
Except
fun.
if
You
I'm
get to be
auditioning for a
somebody else.
psychopath, I don't want to freak people out.
You both remind me of listening to Daniel. You know, I was listening to an article or an interview that for Gangs in New York, and when he played the Butcher, and it was incredible, like his performance and stuff, and how method he goes all the way in. So I always love watching Chad. You know, I think it was with Chad. Oh yeah, I helped you once for an audition.
Yeah, you self-taped me. Yeah.
Yeah, I helped him self-tape once, and we were in a hotel, and I'm like, all right, I'm rolling, and he's like, cool, and then he just starts crying, and goes into it. I'm like, whoa, everything good? And it's just Chad playing being the character.
Everything good?
Just like, yeah, everything good.
Everything good.
I really need
well,
this
then
one.
you've got your tricks too that you pull out. So I'm sure I was like doing everything because it was like a really hard scene. So I was pulling out everything just to do it. But you do what you got to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, man.
Exactly.
You know.
Like I had a recent audition. I'm not gonna say the project. All I will say it's like an indie, and one of the character I was auditioning for, she had to take a fish out of water and start talking to it. Really weird comedy. So I was like, okay, for audition, I need to pretend I'm talking to a live fish. So I was like, okay, I went to the fish market and bought a dead fish. And I brought that into the audition, and I'm literally talking to this dead fish with the eyes looking at me. But
amazing.
It's so cool.
Casting said I was the only person that thought of that, so that went out obviously pretty well. Just this giant dead fish, just talking to it with all dripping, but then it fell apart.
Oh.
So I was just like,
wow. But they remember you, right? They don't forget that. I mean, you have to make interesting choices, and you were like, I'm gonna make this interesting choice, and like, you know, whether you get it or not, like you committed to it, and like that's incredible. That's what it takes.
Exactly, and it's not always about getting the part. It's always about getting remembered, so you keep getting called in by the same casting directors.
Exactly. So, and that takes us to like what advice would you give, you know, younger actors or anybody pursuing their passions or their dreams, you know, because like we talked about earlier, it's really, really tough, and it's different for everybody. Everybody gets into it differently. And what advice would you give somebody following your footsteps?
I would say be yourself, don't give up, be patient. Remember to always pat yourself on the back too. You have to trust your hard work, and you just have to trust your journey, to be honest. Everybody's journey goes at a different pace. Mine took a long time, just like everybody's. It's not always overnight. That's for like very, very few people, but most of us are just pounding the pavement. You just have to wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to be the last person standing.
That's the best advice, really. Never give up. Never give up, because you never know when the next turn down that road is going to take you and bring you to just that next stepping stone in life. And, you know, we preach about this all the time. It's hard. You know, you're not living if you're not pushing yourself mentally and physically to your best of your abilities that you can possibly be in this world. You know, we all have goals. We all have that journey to take. But it's how much do you want to be here instead of just be here, skating, feeling comfortable life, and then life's over, and then that's it. Why not be here to your max, you know, your max capacity that you can actually become everything that you were fulfilled to be when you were born into this world, so you can be a ripple effect, an energetic ripple effect that leaves that mark behind, that people remember you for that, you know? And I think that's what all of us are that in a sense. It's making it for a positive. And I think, you know, all we can do is just keep striving for that. And I love it. I honestly love what you're doing, Kayla. And I think, you know, it's super cool to watch your career just take off. And you're on the way. You're on the way up and up and up. And your motivation is so so powerful. Like, I see your motivation. I've read your articles. I've seen some of your posts. I'm like, right on. I was driving in the car the other day with somebody, and we were talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, they were asking about the podcast. I'm like, yeah, I have this really cool girl coming up, Kayla. She's going to be on. And I'm like, oh, look at this post. I'm like, good for her. You know, I was like actually excited for you to be doing something great, or posting or talking about what you just did or what you want to accomplish. It's just really cool to see all that, you know, take off. So I give you applause.
It's amazing, just especially like the response from the autism community, because like from what people have told me, I'm the first actress with autism to be playing an autistic character in a leading role in a TV series, and that's just really tongue-tied, groundbreaking, just because it's never been done before, to be honest. And it's about time that actors with disabilities can actually play a character with disabilities. You don't need to hire able-bodied actors, and I'm proof of that now. So I'm just hoping it's just like another step forward.
Yeah, and I love that about you. There's nothing that is impossible. It's how bad do you want it, and how do you take what you have to take that next step up, you know, and you focus your energy on it. You know what you want. You know what you want in life, and you're going for it. So I have mad respect for you, and I love people that just go after, you know, their goals and want to conquer it and don't give up, you know. And it was funny, I was looking at your post, speaking of your post, because and I saw that you were reading a book called Dangerous Games to Play in the Dark. Anything fun?
Yes.
Anything fun we can do on this G crew? Give us a dangerous game to play.
Well, most of them you have to play like by yourself. There isn't like too many group games, because we all would have to actually be together to do it. Oh. But the one that I find the most fascinating actually comes from Korea, the elevator game. Basically, you visit different floors of a 10-plus floor building. You have to follow specific tasks on each floor that you go on in a specific order. And if you complete it correctly, it takes you to a different dimension that is filled with darkness. At some point, when you reach the 5th level, a woman comes into the elevator that either resembles a stranger or somebody that you look like. You can't talk to her, you can't associate with her in any way, because her goal is to lure you into her demonic dimension. The game became more popular after like the Elisa Lam case at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, the security footage like is truly terrifying because you can actually see the fear in her face. You can see her like peering out of the elevator, like looking like somebody's like coming after her. And then I think it was like 2 weeks later, her body was found in like the water tower of the hotel.
Locked. I mean, locked.
Yeah, locked in there. So people online are saying, you know, like her soul was trapped and her physical body is like in the water tower.
Man.
But frankly, just the idea of like drinking water and bathing in somebody's decomposing bodily fluids is just that's scary enough than the game.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell on the footage. I mean, she's pushing every single floor button, and the doors are not even shutting at all.
No.
It's like, what is happening here? I've been fascinated by that for a long time, and it's still a cold case, right?
Yeah, it's still a cold case. I mean, but the hotel has like a history of itself. You know, like several serial killers have stayed there during some time.
Ramirez, Black Dahlia.
Yes.
There's been and that's just down the road from me, actually. I kind of live near that place, and it's got tons of history. Ooh, I love that you brought that up, Kayla. That's a cool spot.
Man.
It is. I haven't actually been to that area yet. I mean, obviously downtown, but I have never passed the Cecil Hotel. The story is just so creepy in itself. I know, like, the probability of, like, Elisa Lam, like, all of this being related to the elevator game is probably just some sort of hysteria, but you can't deny the elevator footage with how, like, terrified she is. But it could be real, or it could be just she's easily scared shitless.
And
you just don't know.
Didn't toxicology show no drugs or alcohol at all in her system?
Yep. She was an exchange student that was like had just a regular family. Like there was no there was nothing weird about her. You know what I mean? There was no like foul play about her. She was just a normal girl, and I mean, yeah.
And now she's completely infamous.
Story.
You know what I mean? Like that whole story is just
Yeah.
amazing. I don't know, man. Ugh.
I know, it's insane because I remember watching it on Nancy Grace, like saying, "Oh, she's found in the water tower," and I was just like, "Wait, what? Wait, what? She's been in the water tower this whole time?"
Yeah.
And wasn't that pretty close to a movie plot? What movie was that?
Yeah, it was. It was that
Dark
horror-
Water.
that's-
Yeah.
Dark
With
Water.
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh wow.
That was it. There was a couple actually based on it, but that was one of them. It's a creepy story, and they also talked about the only person who had the key to that water tank was the manager, or not the manager, the caretaker,
Security guard.
security guard, right?
Yeah.
Like what is happening at that hotel?
But there were like several like locks. Like she would have had to go through like the door to get up there, and then the door to get onto the water tower, and then like the actual like barricaded locked gates that were on the tower itself. Like,
and then
and she was naked. She was naked.
Right. And
I
she
don't
would
know.
have to
She was
lock herself in, right? So it's
she'd have to lock herself in, and she was not wearing any clothes.
And didn't it take several firemen to lift the lid off of the water tower?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was a naturally like small framed woman, but she couldn't have like that kind of strength. But it's just weird when you watch the full security footage. It just really makes you wonder about this game.
I think all of us need to go to that hotel.
I was just going to bring this up. G Crew Live from the Cecil Hotel.
And recreate it.
Maybe not that, but I mean, we just do a live show from there, not recreate anything. Like, just, no, I don't want to.
I'm all for it. We're going to bring the book, and I will do it.
Well,
as long as like we have like a printout of all the instructions, because that's the last thing I think we need is like miss a step in something. Like,
I know,
very bad happening and getting stuck in that dimension.
Oh God!
But they're remodeling the hotel and renaming it. So
Come on!
I don't believe it's going to be the Cecil anymore. No, it's not going to be the Cecil.
It's Stay on Main or something now.
Yep, that's exactly right. Because I think of all of the past stuff that is affiliated with the Cecil. I think,
There's now a stigma
and
that's
after
attached
American
to
Horror
it.
Story did like the inspiration for American Horror Story Hotel, so it's kind of like, they kind of have to change things.
So I tried getting into the location. It was a couple of years ago. I was trying to get in there, I think, for Paranormal Lockdown, and they don't want anything to do with it back then. So hopefully it's new management now, and they would allow some cool G's to roll in there, and we can film there.
Yeah.
That could be.
There's a hidden GoPro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, gentlemen, we could book
send
the rooms.
you in. Guys.
It wouldn't matter.
We can
just cruise in there,
and we can. Right.
Everything I have fits in a backpack. It's totally good. We'd be good to go.
Guys, I need a vacation. Vacation, so.
In the last minute, I've reconsidered this. I will run a camera if somebody else wants to recreate it.
Yeah. No thanks.
Johnny will bring his rubber ducky.
Quackers.
Quackers, the rubber
but
ducky.
just hold that thought because we are in the middle of apocalypse, so no rush.
Yeah, let's just wait until everything calms down.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in a few months, or hopefully weeks. I'm hoping weeks, not months.
Yeah,
I literally just got off the airplane today. I flew back here to the studio just to record 2 episodes of G Crew today. So I was on a flight. It was interesting. They only let about 12 people on a flight.
Wow.
So,
dude.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Damn.
I know.
Wow.
It was really weird. It's weird walking through the airports right now too, because it's like a ghost town.
I bet.
Everything is just quiet. I'm looking for food. I was starving. I go, this restaurant's open. Nope, this restaurant isn't. The only thing that was open was Starbucks.
Naturally.
Right? And they were out of plain bagels, and I wanted a plain bagel. There was no plain bagels. So I had to resort to a morning bun.
So Nick's just pitching a fit.
Fitness, nutrition.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want this morning bun. I want bagel. So I literally rolled up the airplane.
Oh.
drinking my coffee, and here we are. Apocalypse. I'll take the apocalypse. I'll take it all. Take all the apocalypse. All of a sudden, you just see me get tackled. I turn rabbit. I'm like,
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy in the world right now. You gotta laugh a little bit. It's like a dark cloud. Everyone, it's just weird. People are walking around. Kids have gloves on, touching their phones. Everyone has a mask on. And I put my mask on for like 2 seconds. But first off, me wearing that mask that you get at like a doctor's place or whatever, just those regular masks, you put on, it's not going to do anything. Those masks, you breathe in air through the bottom and it circulates that way.
Yeah.
You need like an actual oxygen tank of some sorts.
Man.
Yeah, those masks were made so surgeons do not cough as they're performing surgery. It's not meant to keep anything out.
Yeah, but I heard that people are wearing the mask so they don't touch their faces. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I was driving today and I saw a lady like driving in the car next to me. And she had her mask on in the car, and I'm like, really, really?
The best would have been if you looked over and she had her mask on, and when you're looking, she's trying to eat a hamburger. That would have been classic.
Oh man!
The weirdest thing I saw, I was at a grocery store and it looked like somebody was wearing a costume hazmat suit.
Oh wow!
That's awesome. I was in the gym 2 days ago, right? In a gym in a different state, and somebody had a whole entire suit on the treadmill.
They're on the treadmill,
running like that.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, running like that. Like they were from remember that movie Outbreak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan
yeah,
Freeman?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like Morgan Freeman in one of those hazmat suits running on the treadmill.
That's
like,
absurd.
Freeman,
if you
what are
got to
you
do
doing
that,
here? Man.
Stay home. Like if you
Just stay
really
home.
have to go to that length right now, stay home.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like that's ridiculous.
Wow.
But you know what? There are people that, so the dangerous side, right, to this virus, it's worse than the flu. It's so contagious. It's spreading like crazy. And the crazy thing about this is if you have a weak immune system, it's attacking the immune system. Or people, that are heavy smokers or whatnot, the throat, they're just going to get sick. I think they're more at harm, than most of us who work out. And, I'm taking a bunch of like, not vitamins. I'm taking a bunch of like fruit and Juice Plus that I'm taking. It's just helping my immune system up. So I think it's beneficial, It kind of makes everybody wake up and go, maybe I should start being a little bit more healthy today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should eat an apple or go work out or like.
Yeah, but all the gyms are closed right now.
Yeah.
Like all the LA Fitnesses, like everything's like closed. I'm just like, it feels weird not waking up at 3 a.m. to be at the gym at 4 a.m. all of a sudden. It feels weird.
Absolutely.
That's Johnny's life over there. Waking up at 4, hitting
4 a.m.
gym. He's sending
Every
me
day.
pictures at like 4:30 a.m. He's like, Nick, what are you doing? In the gym.
Slacker.
I'm like, well, I was sleeping until I heard my phone ringer go off. Picture with your
Days
My
wasting
Little
away.
Pony T-shirt, your My Little Pony benching.
That was a unicorn, by the way.
Oh, unicorn, my bad. Johnny, you are a unicorn. You are a unicorn.
Oh man.
There's a great saying about unicorns. They're special
Oh.
unicorns.
Ooh.
I love it.
Like as far as my mental health, like I need to go to the gym every day, otherwise my mind just starts going crazy, and like I can only do so many burpees in my living room with my dog jumping all over me. This is day 2 of me being in the house,
Dude, yeah.
I agree. There's something about getting out of your own house, putting your music in, and just working out really hard. Like forgetting reality, and that's your place. That's where I go. I just go to another world and get crazy for a second.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. I love all of you guys. This is great. Anyways,
love.
It's been amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. And honestly, everything's gonna be okay. I have seen a bunch of scenes from it, seen an episode. It is hilarious. You are so funny in the episode. She has like some of the best one-liners that are classic, honestly. What was the one?
There's so many. Like, let's see.
What's the one about the threesome? It was so funny. You gotta hear this one.
There's several. Can Drea and Jeremy come over for a threesome? There's so many lines. Let's see. Have I missed another fundamental social cue again, or is this pretty weird?
Oh man, that's great. It's so great.
Or my favorite one-liner was Matilda's sex scene where she says, "That's not my vagina."
Oh, I love it. It's so amazing. There's nothing else out there right now like a series like this. Yeah. Everything's gonna be okay. You have to see it. Like, seriously, guys, you got to watch it. It's so funny, and she's just like amazing in it. It's so funny to see you. It's so funny that, like, it's crazy because, like, knowing you and talking to you right now, it's funny to see you morph into that character. It's like somebody totally else. That's what I love about you. You can just change into Matilda. Like,
I know.
Like
I mean, it's fun. I mean, Matilda and I both have, like, similar quirks. Like, I'm very bad at sarcasm. So is she. I was socially awkward when I was her age. But just getting into this character, creating it, just making the lines as hilarious as possible without even realizing it. Like, like, what was that line? I used to give Dad hugs because they gave him joy, but I was hoping, since he's just dead now, I wouldn't have to do it anymore.
Oh, man. It's so great. It's so great.
Kayla, you're amazing. You're amazing. You. I am so grateful to have you on, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. We're all rooting for you, and like Chad said, maybe there is a sequel to Supernatural, and you're it. Mrs. Badass
That's right.
coming out.
That's right.
There's Wayward Sisters, but that got canceled.
I know.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
I know it. Hopefully they'll do a spin-off, and then, you know, you can be like what would you want to be on Supernatural if you had the opportunity? What would you want to be?
I don't know. It depends what direction they would go. I mean, obviously, being a hunter would be a dream.
Yeah.
But maybe even being, like, the occasional, like, crossroads demon.
Yeah.
Would be actually
Totally.
really cool.
Yeah, I think you'd be a good demon.
Yeah, just playing Dark is one of my specialties. I just haven't had that opportunity to play. But to get into my agency, I did a monologue from Scream 4 when the killer's talking about killing her mother and cutting up her best friends and stuff. And my agents were like, we haven't heard somebody play a serial killer in an audition, but it's better than Shakespeare that we hear every week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And you love doing your own stunts, right? That's what I read. You love doing your own stunts too. So you want to be in like a superhero film or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I would love to do Marvel. There's so many interesting characters. I could actually, with how quirky I am, I could actually see Squirrel Girl. I mean, how awesome is it? A girl that can command her own squirrel army to attack her enemies.
That would be sweet.
And there's scenes in the comic book when she's like baking cupcakes in the kitchen with all of her squirrel friends helping. It's like the superhero version of Snow White, but without the singing.
It's amazing.
I'm on board.
If you get that part, please tell them that us over the G Crew, all of us will play your squirrel army voices.
Boom.
So I'll be a squirrel. Chad would be a squirrel. Like, let's just act it out really quick. I wanna let's improv this for a second. You guys down? Because I just want to try this. All right. So, you go first, Kayla. All right.
Okay.
If you're commanding us, you're commanding us, and
one of her lines is okay. If she had a voice, it'd probably be quirkier. Okay, guys, our target is that man over there. He's a known burglar. What I want you to do is first nibble at his ankles and then just start going all the way up. And attack!
Yes, Chad.
That idea's nuts.
Chad, throw me the nuts over here. I can throw it at his ankles.
I don't know how to throw. I don't know what to do.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Give me the nunchucks.
I don't know.
I'm hitting his Achilles. Nothing is happening. Achilles.
Man, I think we all just got cast.
I think that's
I think we all just.
I agree.
Yeah.
Can you imagine us, 4 of us, little squirrels, like Johnny has nunchucks,
Dude.
Chad is throwing like his little round up nuts at him, and
I love how you guys went straight for the nuts too. By the way,
It's obvious.
You know, a nut bazooka.
Ooh, yes, definitely.
Ooh, yeah.
and
Oh,
Josh has
God.
a slingshot. Josh
Natural.
should have a slingshot, but he uses the slingshot by using his tail
I like that.
to throw things. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
And Josh, you should always have your cheeks like stuffed with stuff that you've collected.
Oh, dude, that's easy. I do that most of the time anyway. Yeah, like, we're good.
Okay. In case we need a snack of some sort.
That's right. Just in case.
But I want Chinese stars and nunchucks. That's what I want. Johnny and I could be ninja squirrels.
Ooh,
Ninja squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
Oh,
I
I'm
can see
excited.
us whacking his like some human's Achilles, and we're just these little squirrels. Climbing up. I could see Chad climbing up his pant leg or something.
just you just see like the ripple going up the pants, and he's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, man!
Oh, this is great. All right, we're gonna take this episode. We're gonna shop it around.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We're saying
It's
this to
been
all the
greenlit.
agents.
Been
All the
greenlit.
agents. Oh, it's been greenlit already. All right, good.
Yeah, it's been greenlit.
I figured.
It's going to be in the trades tomorrow. Yeah.
One
Kayla, congrats on the congrats on the lead.
Congrats. There you go.
Yeah.
Kayla, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, talking
been awesome.
with us, talking about life, talking about what character you want to play coming up. Oh, I love it. I can just visualize that too. Everything's gonna be okay. Check it out. It's an amazing series on Freeform Network. I love it. Follow her on social media. She has a great Instagram page. Follow her stories. Thank you for sharing us paranormal stories, Queen Mary, all that fun jazz. So take care. We will talk to you again. You got to come back on because
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
loving
love
this.
to come back.
Please
on.
do. Please do.
absolutely. And we'll have to go on an investigation soon. So next time I'm in West Coast, let's all gather up and just go to that hotel.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's go
No, I
figure out
agree.
what's going
I
on.
just got a new REM pod, so I'm just like, yes, I
Awesome.
want to use it somewhere.
Sweet.
Nice. I'll bring
Awesome.
my Geoport, my friend
Nice.
Geoport, and we'll talk. We'll talk to the other side. We'll figure out what's going on with that hotel.
Agreed.
All right.
I'm down.
Yeah.
All right.
And also we're gonna be looking for that tweet that says season 2 is happening, okay?
Yeah.
I know. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Okay, let's take care. Have a good day, and we will see you soon.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye,
Thank you.
Stay
Kayla.
healthy. Get groceries.
Yeah, you too.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye. All right, boys.
She's amazing. You know.
Yeah.
Getting
Dude, yeah.
to know her is just incredible because I don't know. It's interesting when you first talk to somebody over social media or get to know them a little bit back and forth on emails or whatnot, or even like phone calls and setting up interviews and stuff. Once you can really get personal with somebody and just chill like we do and just talk about crazy stuff, even becoming a squirrel for a second.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, man. The G crew. Nothing
Yeah.
like it out there.
Oh man, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. I enjoyed talking to her immensely, and especially I feel like I can relate, to her stories and, a lot, as far as, the acting and how tough it is. And, she's out there doing her thing and it's so much success, and that's awesome.
It's cool, man. I know. It's really cool hearing both of you talk about just that side that people don't really get to see sometimes. What it's like to go through the process of trying to get that role or reading for auditions and then, being
Oh,
let
yeah.
down,
I mean,
then being excited, getting the part.
Exactly. Exactly. And then she had to audition almost 8 to 10 times to get that
Dude.
role. People don't realize that it's really like the callbacks, and then you have to go through so many hoops. You really do in order to get that role. And usually you're sitting across from a bunch of people who are not amused. Even when you're doing a comedy, like they are sitting looking at you like serious, and you're like, oh my God, am I doing okay? Am I funny enough? And then you get the part and you're like, okay, I did something right, but it's hard work.
Wow.
What would you say, Chad, for people that were trying to go out for these parts? Like something inspirational that you could give,
Oh
give a
man,
message.
I first I tell people you have to be 115% sure that you want to get into this business, or else don't, because you have to be 100. You has to be who you are, or else it really will chew you up and spit you out, even if you're in the business. So I say you have to be persistent. You can never, ever, 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 ever give up. You can never give up, because the day that you say I give up and you move home and then you say that's it, well, that next day you might have gotten that big part that was going to change your life forever.
Yeah.
So you just have to be in it, and you are going to have days that you're going to say I don't want to do this anymore. Trust me, I still have those days, because it's tough. But be persistent. Be the last person standing.
Yeah.
And we are the G Crew, and we are out of here.
Woohoo.
Good night.
Peace.